Alright, we are back with game 2 of Bronze Boot Camp. We just finished game 1. Bronze Boot Camp starts at noon Eastern Time, Saturdays. It's for players Silver 5 and below to receive feedback on their gameplay, improve, and just generally help climb the ranks. We have a good team of higher elo players to give you the feedback that you need. We also have Battle Arena, Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Same concept, Gold 1 and below. If you missed any of that or you want just more information, check out trinityforcenetwork.com. We have all the shows, 4 podcasts, Trinity Force Podcast, LCS Rundown, 4 Awards, and Oslo. Also have a Battle Arena tab with all of this information, and a community tab. Hop into TeamSpeak, usually 20-25 people in there playing normal games. Also have Reddit/r Force Network. A lot of good stuff. Also, pretty good guide on last hitting in here. Check it out.
Grind out some pool party points. Ooh.
Grind out some pool party points.
Who doesn't want that free Mundo skin? Come on.
We're not gonna get it.
Okay. Taco, stop being a negative Nancy.
Okay.
Alright, picks and bans. Pretty standard from both teams. Not a lot to talk about. I'll say if you're going to ban Rise, and I see this on one of my games, save him for third ban so the other team bans him for you once in a while. But usually blue team has to ban Rise. Real fun. Real dynamic gameplay Riot has.
Over buffed him.
Yeah, I question why they don't just hotfix it. They can hotfix like Caitlyn for a bug, but they don't hotfix Rise. It's kind of I don't think he's actually like that broken. I think he still has some clear weaknesses, albeit he's overpowered and he's probably the strongest top laner. I don't think he's like 60% win rate broken, like when they fixed Rumble's flamethrower.
Oh god.
Or Azir.
But
Azir.
I think that his kit is broken, if that makes sense. I don't think he should be like, I was playing a rally with Mercury Treads in a ranked game, and he could chain W on me, and I don't think that's reasonable.
The issue comes from the fact that his cooldowns are slightly too low. And if you play him once, you'll understand what I mean. Where you can rotate throughout your entire spells, especially at level 18, and your ult basically has no cooldown.
Oh, we're going to see the V-Raj and poor Rish's bot lane.
Oh yeah, those two know each other. Keep on forgetting.
Yeah, they're real fucking toxic.
Yeah, there's something.
But you guys want to know the best way to deal with a horrible Rise? Easy, just get a Soraka on your team. And you have a sad Rise. Soraka deals with all your mid to low range AP
Right, dude,
mid.
you think Soraka counters everything?
Baby! I will let you know that it clearly counters Caitlyn. Yeah.
Oh, I still hope that's all off top.
Can you actually interrupt Caitlyn's? Her ult is technically a channel, right?
Yes.
So you could technically cancel it out with silence.
Yes.
Interesting.
Caitlyn shouldn't be casting ultimate in front of Soraka, so that's kind of a moot point.
Don't ruin my dreams, horse.
Same thing as Fiddle. Like, on Fiddle, you have to watch people who cancel your ult, but if you're good at Fiddle, they shouldn't be canceling your ult, because you shouldn't be casting it in front of them.
That's why wards exist.
That's why you sweep before you ult on Fiddle.
I'm really sad we don't get to see KOTOR's Blitzcrank, but...
Yeah. Why doesn't he play Blitzcrank jungle or Blitzcrank top? Smite Cinderhulk Blitz top is okay.
Just okay though.
Just okay. So is Rammus. Smite Rammus top is okay.
Hey.
Alright, so we have a general... Oh god, bonus in this game. Alright, this is bad. So I know the Ponya face guy in real life too. He builds tier and Zerks. Berserker Gears on like everybody. Yeah, he's gonna build Berserker Gears in Olaf.
Please don't.
I want to see this. Bring the glory of the Viking.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Hey, report horse doctor.
It's okay.
Apparently, its team wouldn't let KOTOR play Blitzcrank.
GG. So you guys, that kind of confuses me a bit. So you guys don't let the guy with probably the least mastery, well, the least masteries and the least ruins, do the one role that requires it the least. You guys give it, you give that guy the guy that requires the most, which is jungle.
Amumu does. I mean, when I have to level Smurf and I play jungle, Fiddlesticks is a pretty good go-to. Warwick is too. Fiddle's actually a good champion though. So matchups in general, it looks like we have Cho'Gath and Tuzir. It can be pretty rough for Azir early. He really needs to make sure that he's not lining himself up with low health creeps and eating Cho'Gath to eat her ass. Also, trying to eat as few Cho'Gath W's as he is, and abusing the fact that Cho'Gath is melee. So when Cho'Gath goes up to CS, he needs to be making sure that he's his soldiers on Cho'Gath. Azir wants to look to play lane passively. At level 6, he can Azir sect Cho'Gath, and Cho'Gath is melee. So Cho'Gath is a reasonable gank for him. Or he just wants to wait for gank assist and farm, basically.
Yeah.
Cho'Gath, same thing. But Cho'Gath can bully out really hard. Just when he gets gank assist, he can actually kill easily pre-6 or at any point in time. Since that Cho'Gath can be brutal for Azir. Jungle matchup, Amumu does pretty well against Xin Zhao late game. Early game can be hard. Xin Zhao really wants to abuse. Early game and mid game, when he knows Amumu doesn't have ultimate, he wants to pick 2v2s, 3v3s, and stuff like
Xin Zhao
that.
can also like invade and set Amumu behind at any point.
And Sona, Varus against Close to Thresh. So, Varus Sona wants to go really hard at level 1. Any landing against Thresh, Thresh's level 1 is pretty mediocre. Thresh is a really good level 2. Sona and Varus both have good level 1s. So they want to use that. 2, they need to be careful. If they pick a trade, it can't be a trade with Thresh Hook. And they just kind of want to take health advantage from that and just use it the entire landing phase. As long as Sona has a reasonable rune page and gets Sightstone early, it's not a bad lane.
Most matchups with Sona, especially whether it's Thresh or a Morgana involved or Blitzcrank, if you could hook, you're probably dead. You're really squishy.
Yeah. I haven't really seen the Gnar versus Olaf matchup, to be honest, but I can imagine whoever lands Q first, and who doesn't, is going to generally win trades.
Sit.
Let's just hope that this is like actually an Olaf mid. Like I would find that amusing.
Going tier Zeal.
And we'll finally be able to see whether Olaf can actually go through a Zero ultimate or not, because I'm not necessarily sure exactly how it's coded, whether it's considered a spell / a form of CC since it knocks you back, or if it's actually coded as terrain.
Yeah. The general, well, he won't be able to get through his ultis because it is set as terrain, but general summoners for Olaf is going to be Ghost and TP. You can replace Ignite for that if you do want to win lane really hard, but Ghost just synergizes with your ult really well. And, I don't know, Flash, you don't really benefit too much. Hey, we're finally getting to game. Alright, so everyone on Twitch, who do you think is going to win? Team Red Team or Varus Blue Team? How about you, Darkner? Who do you think is going to win?
I'm still in a black screen. Okay, there you go. I'm honestly gonna have to give it to Red Team. Mostly because they have a really good, if you get caught by either Thresh Hook, knock up of Callista, Cho'Gath Q, or Xin Zhao, you're basically gonna get blown up. You're just gonna get CC locked. So they're really gonna want to hope for like good ward control and picking people off in the jungle, while blue team's really gonna want to poke before their engages and then basically go really hard once Gnar gets Mega Form or Amumu goes in with his ultimate.
Yeah, whenever I notice like a top laner that doesn't have TP, as a jungler, I love to go top as early as possible just to set them behind. Because if someone without TP doesn't get a kill early on, generally the person with TP has advantage throughout the entire game then.
Alright, so for those of you guys out in Twitch chat, who do you think is going to win this game?
I already did that.
Alright. Good stuff. Here, 1 second.
Alright.
Stop. We just went outside.
Okay, and I will explain why I was referencing whether Olaf can walk through Azir, like his ultimate, is because it's technically not terrain as it's being thrown out. Morgana can walk through it with Black Shield on as it's being thrown out, but that could also have been a bug, so I'm not really sure like how it's programmed initially.
Did we talk about Olaf not having teleport?
Yeah, we did.
Alright, good. Take teleport.
And
also,
Ghost.
skills at level 1. I see some people who go Flash Olaf. It's usually Ghost, but Flash lets you combo QEQ, which is useful once in a while.
Yeah, but versus Gnar, you want to take Ghost, I'd say.
Yeah, usually Flash is more jungle. I see, like, jungle's 50-50, top is like 75-25.
Yeah.
Runes Mastery's level 1 skills. Talk about level 1 skills occasionally in Ballerina. It's important because you don't know what's going to happen on an invade, and sometimes people invade really late, so you don't want to skill unless you have to. People like Varus, it's not as big a deal on Stoneham because you want to be stacking a Q before lane, but generally it's not good.
I will say this: people that this is just a general rule of thumb. If you're playing a champion that doesn't have that has a heal other than Taric, you should generally. Those are the only supports you should generally run a mana pot on. Because if you're playing someone like Thresh, Morgana, Lulu, at that point it's more about you having to learn mana management rather than you not having enough mana to do things.
And so now remember, you can run out of mana really fast if you're healing yourself a ton. Try and focus on health pots on yourself more, and try and focus on whatchamacallit, healing your AD carry.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how little it costs to harass with Q.
Yeah.
Spam that all day. W is the one that'll hurt you mana-wise.
Yeah, nice little tip that I like to do as Sona is that I like to take Q if I know that we're not invading, and to sit in the base and
level
just
1?
hit Q.
Wow.
Maybe,
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Alright.
That actually happened.
Yeah, Olaf has one of the best level 1s and 2s and 3s in the game. You really have to not let him
It's
choose
crazy.
his lane.
Because he basically just infinitely slows you if he's landing those axes, and then just keeps trading you with true damage.
So as Olaf,
Yep.
I mean as Gnar, what do you want to look to do there next time?
I personally think he should have started his Q, mostly because he should have known that.
Oh,
Or-
shit, yeah.
Assuming that he knew like Olaf's capabilities, like he should have been playing it kind of defensively the first early levels.
And chat, Calista should have W level 1 and Thresh should have E level 1. They're correct to say so. Calista, just W gives you more power at level 1 in case you run into an extended trade. And it has more usefulness. Thresh, if you look, he walks in the lane, he throws Q. As soon as he does that, he loses all lane presence, and the Sona could really be using Calista here. E is safer, it helps your autos, it's easier to land.
Why isn't she?
It also depends if you're trying to do like cheese. Like, there's a cheese where you just sit in the bush and then you throw a Q, you hook at level 1, and you're probably gonna kill Sona, especially if you have Ignite. But what you said is true. But the problem
Whoa.
is if you get one hook, it's basically you win the laning phase for a while. With Sona, it's less so because she has the capability to heal so well if she like just destroys her mana pool. But
Sona flash Q. No. Flash
Yeah.
Q. So Sona,
Oh,
you
she's got it. She's got it. What?
should be warding this bush.
Oh.
This is one of the situations where you shouldn't be afraid to burn your flash.
Yeah.
And honestly, Shamlao, you should whatever. You should really be more aware of the fact you have heal. Just in emergency case situations. And Thresh, you want to be playing up more up front. You should know that Varus has no actual trade potential right now on you. And if he does, it's going to be from a culmination of both Sona and his damage. So you can try to kind of hook him again in order for Callisto to follow up.
And Sona, in that engage, if you have a ward, just drop in that bush. If you dropped in that bush, you would have fixed a lot of problems, and it would have been much easier to just target Callisto and kill her. But blue team's doing good. They're pushing in a tower. If somebody's really low against you, and you can't kill them because they're saying a safe champion or something like that, one of the better things you can do is just try and keep them in lane. Especially if you have poke, because you can just poke them off tower and make them lose like entire wave.
And a Mumu, a good way to like basically play out jungle situations like that is you auto and you use your abilities up close when you can, and you don't burn your distance closer until they've either flashed away or found a way to disengage that fight.
Mm-hmm. So on a Mumu, you want to be maxing E second, not W. And Olaf, you want to have points in E. I don't know what this 3 points W Q second is. This is pretty rough.
Azir needs to find a way to get back.
On Olaf, your E is actually a really nice way to like CS. If you're ever gonna miss a minion, you just E it, get your health all back, and you just move on to the next minion.
Mm-hmm. And the cost is only 30% of the damage, so you could rationalize, oh, I don't want to get this move because it hurts me. It's dealing like 100 true damage and it only hurts you 30, so it's gonna net 70 every time. It's really, really hard not to have it. Every time he trades with Gnar, it's
it's funded if you get a kill,
yeah,
which is why
creeps.
like it's good for CSing.
Sometimes you one point it. Olaf can max a lot of different things, and there's a lot of plays to play him. Although it's usually Q max with a Righteous Glory build. I don't like his build, but so Olaf builds right now. I see a lot of Glory. I see occasional Trinity Force, and sometimes I see Bork Ghostblade builds. Don't see a lot of Hydra. Sometimes you see it on jungle, they're just getting it to Rice really hard. They're not getting it because it's a better item. They were getting it because Hydra just lets you farm and gank a ton early game. Or Tiamat does. But he's doing pretty good. He wants to play a little careful here. He could get ganked, but he's relatively safe. Cho, you don't want to use your spells to CS. You really want to have as much mana as you can so you can just spam W's the entire lane phase.
Yeah.
And you don't want to max E against the Azir either. If you're playing mid Cho, unless you're playing a melee matchup, you should be maxing W. If you're playing a melee matchup, it's acceptable to get 2 points in E.
Like Callisto died there while still having her heal up.
For chat, sometimes I refer to this in the jungle. It's a bad old habit. When I say Rice, I just mean farm.
Did they put Champion Mastery on ARAM? No. Playing champions on ARAM, Dominion, or 3v3s to some extent is different from the way you play it in normal 5v5s. It's different dynamics.
Is he gonna build Zerker treads on Olaf though? He will. He builds on everybody.
I'm waiting to see the tier.
I don't know if he'll do tier. He built Zerks on Urgot. Alright, so Callisto came back to lane with a Vamp and a Dagger. That's not the worst. On most champions it'd be bad, but Callisto's a little different. Varus is being really greedy here. He should be just looking to recall. The one note I'll make is sometimes if you're about to recall, you could just do one more wave here and no,
Wait. The Olaf is running a crit rune? And
Yeah, he just critted.
He just critted.
Fuck.
he needs to try and 2v1 this. He's Olaf.
Checking out his runes really quick.
Yep.
2v1.
That's the power of Olaf.
Called it. Alright. And he should just push this wave in. I don't know why he's recalling. But good job to recognize that your Olaf and your 2v1's really strong. Amumu and Nar, I'd really work on layering your CC a little better and not mashing keys. But, I mean, Olaf had ultimate, so it wasn't... but... I just feel like that wasn't well thought out. You both kind of just ran in there and hoped it turned out for the best.
And I will say this, Sona, like, honestly, your Sightstone is way more important than your GP per 5.
Mm-hmm.
That extra, like, I don't know, 500 to 800 gold you're going to end up with at the end of the game is not going to equal the amount of wards you threw out.
When you're playing a Thresh matchup as somebody who's ranged and he leaves his hook, you have about 15 seconds, I believe. 16, that was close. Usually, if a champion like Thresh or Blitz or Leona, if they miss their engage, just kind of count to 15. And that's about as long as you can play aggressive. Then you need to go back to normal. Good Sonal, good Verisol. Wow.
Good re-engage, I suppose, from Amumu.
Yeah, it was good. He was in the right place at the right time. I would say Varus had that kill, so try not to take it. If you're playing support or jungle, especially if you're playing utility champs,
No.
get used to
Dragon.
S clicking.
That's another issue I see is people don't take advantage when they get a kill bot lane. It's basically a 3-man, and it's a free dragon, either a free dragon or a free tower.
And that just really shows how important it is to have good wards, and a ward on Try and a ward on River when you use Sightstone. Wards aren't just for playing safe. They do a lot of other things, and one thing that wards do is they help your jungler deal with counter ganks. You not effectively warding Tribush there allowed Amumu to get in a little more undetected than he should have or could have, and he just kind of turned it around.
Especially since Amumu isn't like the most mobile champion.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand is Amumu's either gonna get ganks from Tribush or from a lane bush. He's most likely not gonna come in through river. You have to really be, especially when you're playing bot lane, you need to be really aware of what routes a jungler wants to take in order to come into your lane.
Mm-hmm. So Varus bought Zerx. That's not a bad buy. You could also go Avarice. Some people get Shiv on Varus. I'm not the biggest fan though. But this is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good that he didn't get Crit Cloak. This is kind of the issue we run into occasionally in BA and BBC. So, good job. Olaf finished his Hydra. This is one issue I have. 4 health potions with Hydra is kind of overkill. I'd like to see 2 health pots in a ward. Or upgrade Trinket or something. A little too much. And Zin's out. When you're jungling, you want to max E. Q max is pretty rough. He's chilling? No. That's good. We talked about the core support items in last game, but we'll touch on them again. Zona should probably have boots here. I don't think the amplifying tune is doing a
Has
lot for
Cho
her.
backed once yet so far?
No, he hasn't.
I think Zen might have.
Went a little too far. Alright, let's see if Power can carry.
Cho'Gath with his 3,000 gold.
So, Olaf's coming to gank mid. This is pretty good.
Oh yeah, but they're not.
Yeah, that's a dead Azure.
Guys,
He's
He might have
Teamwork.
flash though. Oh,
Teamwork.
That's why Flash can be nice on Olaf sometimes.
Nice TP.
Olaf just needs to abuse his lifesteal and his Hydra here.
Yeah,
hope that
Amumu doesn't
Cho'Gath
have
gets
enough
Rupture.
mana to really finish the job.
It's good. See, he's running side to side here, and he's not running a straight line for Boomerang. And Moon is out of mana, so he may be able to do something. Oh, what's he doing? Alright.
The idea was good, but execution was
Oh.
rough.
Remember to proc Hydra. I didn't see you proc Hydra at all there.
Yeah.
He did once during the fight, but after that, you kind of forgot about it.
1 or 2 more Hydra procs, you would have had 100 extra health and you may have lived.
I
Also,
will
keep
say-
Healthbot running the whole time.
Cho'Gath, like, I get it. You want to go back and be like, oh, look, about a big, shiny new item. But honestly, you're just shafting yourself in lane at this point. There's no reason why you should be in lane with 3,000, about 500 gold.
Get your Rod of Ages. Go back.
Or Marilla Nomicon.
Or Deathcap, Zonias, or any other 120
Anything.
AP item at this point.
Alright, so Pona also does this a lot. Double lifesteal, generally not effective. If he is tankier there, he could abuse his Hydra and the lifesteal on Hydra and not die. With double lifesteal, he runs into the issue of getting bursted. Wow.
Whoa.
Keep on thinking you mean Ponophobia,
Yeah.
not the Olaf.
I'm sure Pwn runs into similar issues.
That's more like, his name's more like Pawn, but I don't know, Paiwan, I don't know. I'm done.
Yeah, we call him Pone. So don't recall. If you're playing against Lux, Varus, stuff like that, respect recall. Also, if you're playing against an Ezreal or a Jinx or something, don't watch
Holy
the shop as hard. Be ready to recall. I mean, be ready to watch your character and dodge a skill if you have to. Is he gonna flash? No, he's not a man. So Sona, you want to be warding the blue buff here. You're denying a little more vision than you need to. I mean, not giving yourself as much as you could. Alright, so Zen, you need to know when to back out there. Ooh. And Varus, be careful. Remember that Q can get cancelled. It is a channel. Dash, flash, fly. Flash hook. Oh.
Oh!
Oh, he did it.
Oh!
Good job.
Callista got it. Oh.
And once again, the importance of having Tribush warded. Kotor, get him. And what Olaf did really well there is what Thresh struggled to do here. Remember, if you walk in a straight line, you give your opponent a really easy target to hit. Imagine I'm playing a Mumu here. I could click like this to move, very slow. Or you can click very close to your character a lot. It's much more sporadic and it's harder for people to hit you.
Alright, so for Cho'Gath, when you have enough money to get a full item, you generally want to get that versus getting 2 components of different items.
Oh.
This gives you a bigger power spike in general.
Yeah, you want to buy a Roa there, buddy. Eat enough.
Yeah.
If you have enough gold for a Roa when you back and you plan on building a Roa that game, buy Roa. 16-minute Roa is the dream. Not the dream. I've seen better, but it's pretty good. This is the issue of the double lifesteal build. He has a ton of lifesteal, but he can't use it. And he can kind of use it, but he's getting one shot. The struggle is very real.
Okay. Okay, second Darkner statement. Cho'Gath, complete an item instead of buying pieces of a bunch of them.
We just
Yeah, we said that, yeah.
Okay.
We got you.
Alright, so Thresh, we touched upon this a little earlier. Sona, pretty important to get boots. Touched upon it last game as well. 3 core items for support. Zinza, also boots, if you're jungling, boots are really important. It's also like, I'm seeing a lot of people go jungle item into Black Cleaver every single game. Black Cleaver doesn't have a ton of effective stats for how much it costs. In a lot of games, people actually like
Whoa.
should be going jungle item into randomans. I know you want Black Cleaver, but it doesn't kill you to get Black Cleaver 3rd, 4th, or 5th either. Like, if you're squishy, Warrior Randomins is like one of the strongest power spikes you can get at like 5,000 gold.
I'm gonna say this, and it's usually what I like to say, and it's that you can't think of Black Cleaver as a defensive item. You need to think of it as a utility item. And if you're gonna get it, you're getting it for other people rather than yourself.
Some champions really like to see CDR though. It depends.
So good.
Yeah, but if you're like, I'm not referring to as like top lane. I'm referring to the jungle because of the fact that I get it, CDR strong, but you have to also look at it as like you're not getting enough effective stats in order to validate the fact that you're gonna rush it on someone that can't use it effectively enough, especially when you're a champion that lacks a really solid long range engage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the important point is it's okay to get second some games. If you need armor though, get random ones. If you need magic resist, check out Spirit Visage and lock it. Also, you shouldn't be buying it before your boots. Olaf is split pushing.
As a jungle, you have to remember time is money, and boots help you alleviate the fact that you don't have that much time.
Mm-hmm. It's Frown. You don't want to fight the. Oh, you've Sona coming. Fuck your Hydra.
Sona, so squishy. Oh,
Is she gonna die to
minions,
W?
please.
W.
Oh, Pog champ.
So Olaf finished his blade. I'd like to see him get some tanky items here. In Varus, I really don't like being pushed up this far without a ward on you blue buff. This is kind of ridiculous. So you don't have enough mana to combo someone and fight. And Declaw touched on this in chat. It's still the same issue in last game. 1, upgrade your trinkets. Not enough people upgrade the trinkets. 2, you can't upgrade trinkets till level 9. Not seeing a lot of people buy green wards. Generally, if you get into a habit of just like buying a green ward and 1 or 2 pots. Especially if you have extra gold, you can get 2 green wards too. You never know. And you don't have to use both green wards when you back. You can let them sit in your inventory. But it's not the worst thing in the world. And you might need both of them. Also, pinks. I haven't seen many pinks this game.
Especially mid laners. Mid laners should be one of the people that ward the most. You're in a lane where you have two sides where you can get blown up.
And vision for blue team is pretty rough. Vision for red team's a little better. They have some deep wards, but could also be better. Not a lot of pinks, not a lot of vision in general from both teams. It's really hard on a support to do everything with the Sightstone.
Yeah, I noticed that Zen doesn't have any boots yet. I forget the general rule, but when should you have boots as a jungler?
I would say it's the second big item you buy, and the first probably being your jungle item.
Yeah.
You should usually have
not
tier 1
completely.
before you upgrade.
Yeah, I usually buy boots before I upgrade my like after I get my mid jungle item, you know. But
If you don't, and you have the dream that you can finish your jungle item like really
that
early.
Azir tower is doing work on that retreat.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll be right. No.
If only Olaf was a little more tankier, he could definitely dive Gnar.
What do you guys think the win conditions are for each team right now? It's pretty close.
Honestly, Olaf needs to keep on split pushing. He needs to get tankier. And as well, the rest of the team needs to head bottom and push for the bot inhib. Like, no one can 1v1 Olaf at this point, and even a 2v1 he can deal pretty well with. As for blue team, they need to start grouping up as a whole and try to look for picks while Olaf is top when he shouldn't be.
Yeah, if you notice someone on your team split pushing and they shouldn't be, don't stress too much about telling them when they need to be, because they're probably not going to listen. But try and make the correct play. So if they're top, maybe focus dragon, maybe ward out a jungle, and just remember this 4v5. So don't push too hard. Just keep presence, but don't fight. It's a tricky situation though, because if somebody's split pushing top, you don't want to AFK so they get 3-manned, but you also don't want to fight a 4v5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of posturing and clearing waves. Good by Sonnen to get some armor here, though. Help her deal with Olaf, who's the only one who's giving her a lot of difficulties. And kudos to Samumu. I'm seeing a lot of Mumus in Bronze Boot Camp and Battle Arena get guys in Abyssal. Most games, most Samumu mains I play with get Heart second. It puts his Q on a ridiculously low cooldown, 7 seconds. It'll be about 6 at max rank. And when you get some more CDR, you can get it to about 5. And that just makes him a teamfight monster. It's also like, Amumu uses all of the stats in Frozen Heart, and it lets you give blues to your team a little easier too. It has everything Amumu wants in one item. Alright, so Varus going BT third. We talk about BT third versus last for third sometimes. Generally, you want to look at the armor on the team. Also, remember the armor has a growth stat on every champion, so even if they're not building armor, if you're behind, it's usually Last Whisper. BT is okay here because he's really far ahead and they're not stacking armor.
Nice ulti by Varus. He might get the.
Ugh, that damage.
Oh, a little too far forward, Varus.
Auto.
Alright, so
Yeah,
this
he needs
Cho'Gath
to
probably
auto.
want to recall there. Whoa. Probably a lot close to just asking if you guys think it's okay to get tier 2 bursts early if you're forced to back early. It depends on the matchup. Some matchups you really need combat stats, or if you're losing you really need the Vamp Scepter. If you're winning the lane and you don't particularly need effective stats a ton, it helps jump and it will help you win lane a little further because the jump further range is pretty good and her jump range increases with boot levels. But I would say unless you're winning lane really hard, it's pretty greedy, so I'd be a little careful. Wow.
Dude, you can't sit and face tank Olaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at spell max, and I see that Cho'Gath decided to level up his Vorpal Spike second.
He was maxing them first for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, generally you want to max your Feral Flare and then your Rupture second.
Yeah, we went over that.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure.
Beam Feral Scream.
Yeah, that thing. 3 second
Feral
OP
Flare.
thing.
It's 2.5, I believe, at max.
It's 2.5.
Alright.
Ooh.
So we're talking about face tanking Olaf earlier. When you're playing against Olaf, remember that his axe goes in a straight line, and we talked about this a little bit, but I'm going to talk about it specifically as it pertains to Olaf to give you a tangible example. If you run backwards, it doesn't matter how fast you're running, axe will still hit you. If you run side to side, it doesn't matter how slow you run, axe is still a straight line. So one of the best ways to juke Olaf isn't running away from him like, I don't know, a scared chicken. It's just juking side to side like a boxer, I guess. Something
Just
to
be
think
sure
about.
you commit to once his axe comes out though. Be sure to commit to a side because if you don't, you're gonna end up getting hit by it regardless.
Someone just got out of school.
No, that was TV.
I'm joking.
Don't
Someone
judge
is
me.
going Glory. Glory is good. I would like to see Righteous Glory remember here. And Olaf's going Sunfire. Talked about this a few times. Generally, if you don't get Sunfire first, you don't want to get it top. And even then, not the optimal item first for a lot of top laners.
Yeah, Hydra kids, don't run away like they did in Prometheus. You fight the giant alien monster thing, blow it up with a spaceship or something, and then you run and declare war with an alien species, being one single ship against an entire galaxy or whatever their population would probably be.
I thought that was one flowing sentence, and I thought you said, hide your kids, don't run away like they did. I looked in chat, and I was like, oh. Alright, so Thresh is here. He could be a little more aggressive. He could have tried to hook Varus there. Thresh is pretty iffy. I was talking to one of my friends who's a better support main, and he thinks Thresh is in a difficult spot because he doesn't win every lane. He just goes even, and every lane's a skill matchup. Where if you're playing people as good as you, skill matchups aren't always what you want. And he says like the way you make Thresh viable now is the 40% CDR build, so just getting 40% from support items and having a lot of utility and getting a lot of picks in mid to late game. But if you're afraid to get those picks, he's not a good support to AFK with.
Yeah,
Nice,
I
Sona
completely
ult,
agree.
beautiful, and Varus ult.
And a 0.
Oh my goodness.
Not
the
to mention,
wombo combo.
like Thresh really suffers if he's behind, in terms of like, okay, what do you do at that point? You hope for a pick, and that's it. While champions like Morgana, Annie, like you can still do something regardless of like what phase of the game you are and how far or ahead you are.
And he struggles from behind too. But yes. Thresh, really, if your team's getting caught out like that, you could use your Lantern a little better. Also, we just talked about 40% CDR. Support items like Mikhail's Frozen Heart, they all have CDR on them, man. Pretty good stuff. Blue team, as you recall, important thing, they only have one sweeper. They should have more. If you have more than one sweeper, be sure to be using them as you walk out. So let's say if you siege a base tower, I don't see a lot of people do this, when you're walking out, like sweep this bush, sweep this bush, sweep this bush. And red team, you should know that they're sweeping and dropping wards as they're coming out. So your next move should be to jump into the jungle that they just walked out into. Play safe, use your spells to check bushes so you don't get cheesed, and reestablish vision there, because they should be warding it out. Wow. Annie plus close to ult is awesome. Yeah, Annie close is a pretty good lane.
No, don't be push up this far.
They have very
This is really dangerous.
It's 4v5. Oh.
They
So
don't
they
have
just
the
need to
damage
commit.
to
Yeah.
push off this fight, I don't think.
Erda's too far behind right now.
Oh, man. Here comes the damage.
I think if Kalista and Olaf just fought and did damage, that would have been a good fight. I think they all are like scared. And sometimes it's not a good fight, but it's going to be better than the fight they're going to get when Varus spawns. So if you're losing, even if the 4v5 doesn't seem like the best 4v5 in the world, it's going to be better than the 5v5 you're about to get. So take picks, try and push it. I would really like to see them fight there. Zinzao, you really need to buy boots, man, and randoms.
Yeah.
You're so
Right now,
squishy.
people should be pinging Baron right now. Olaf is bottom. Zin was dead. This would have been an easy Baron for you guys.
Mm-hmm. And Dragon's up in 1 minute. You could have taken tier 2 there. Either fought or kited out and then established vision on Dragon. But we'll look at vision from both teams. Not particularly amazing. Blue team's doing a better job though. Really want to see those upgraded sweepers. Scrying orbs on 80 carries, totems. And I hate to say it, and we say it a lot, but like last hitting and warding are the two easiest ways to quickly improve your elo. And directly, something like warding may not think or feel like it improves it a lot, but warding improves decision making. It improves a lot of things.
That's fair, salty.
That's good.
The best way to think about it is it doesn't matter how ahead a team is in the late game. If you're all even on items and you pick one person off, you're probably gonna win that game.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you figure out if people are alone? Wards.
The Osu pen thing. I don't think using a drawing pad helps you with league mechanics. I think if you play Osu for mechanics, you have to use a mouse tuco. I said I think if you play Osu for just mechanics, you want to use a mouse.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at Osu, yet somehow I'm good enough to be plat. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm bad at Osu too. I've never played it, so I'm bad.
I'm really bad.
Words fit into every build.
Go for Baron.
So Olaf just died and Sun just died. I don't know. They should be dealing with Olaf a little better, but we'll see. They have Baron up. So Olaf built ninjas.
Cho'Gath really set himself behind. He went from going back to lane with 3,500 gold, going back to base with 3,500 gold, to now being 1-4, and basically being only have gone up. What was it? Maybe 60 CS in the past 20 minutes? No, not 20. More like 15-ish.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Alright, so
Finally.
ASAF28 in chat, we are playing another game after this one. If you want to hop in, join the in-game channel T-Force, or just hang around and chat. Unless this game goes to 65 minutes for whatever reason.
Alright, Frown. Wherever Olaf is, I want you to be, because you have TP up, and you should try to stop his split pushing.
Mm-hmm. So, we have a lull in the action. I'm going to go up and down builds a little bit. Touchdowns and Zhao should have randoms and boots, and should just generally be going tanky. Well, not only is Ghostblade bad later game, it's terrible if you're behind and you need to be tanky. Gnar, same thing. I don't know why you got Brutalizer. I don't think Ghostblade's good on late game Gnar unless you're... I guess your team's winning kind of hard, but you have Azir, Varus, and Mumu Sona. Your team is so packed full of damage, you just want to be tanky. Mumu build's generally good. I would have liked to see Sweeper instead of Warding Totem, but... Alright, and let's see what happens here.
Yeah. Get Phage over Brutalizer. So you can get Black Cleaver later.
Mm-hmm. BC's good. Mallet's good too.
Oh yeah, Mallet as well.
Right now, the range people really should be trying to poke on the inhibitor instead of kind of just sitting back. There you go.
Whoa. That's messed up the crystal.
Like, Zinza just disappeared on my screen.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
The
Olaf is
power
turning
of
it
Olaf.
around.
Frickin' Olaf.
Yeah, but now he's too far out.
Nice rupture.
Alright, Olaf, get those home guards going. Oh, run to your base, get home guards, buddy.
And they actually might close this out right here.
Nah, they can't.
Olaf.
Nice kiting there, but oh,
Olaf.
the axe. Oh,
That's
Olaf
pretty well played.
refuses to die.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, yeah, come on, minions, kill the turret. Oh, okay, minions, you're fired. Okay, now you're rehired.
One of the issues that Cho'Gath made is it doesn't scale as well into late game as some other picks. You really want to do more in the early game where team fights can end up like this. We talked about one of the issues was staying in lane for too long, and you lost a lot of pressure because of that and gave Azir a lot more free farm than you needed to. But remember to look for roams, look for picks. Cho'Gath is kind of like a weird lizard assassin.
Yeah, and then he chose to do something weird, which was buy an extra Dorn's ring,
Sell
and
on
then
those.
buy 2 uncompleted items, and that's it. And then he ended up selling both those Dorn rings.
Mm-hmm.
He really just set himself behind way too much. And then he didn't. And then he basically stopped farming for the next 20 minutes.
Alright, and...
You guys, Red team really needs to be contesting this like vision.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to see more pots out of both teams. I don't know why Varus is getting Ghostblade 6. I don't know why everyone in this game is so obsessed with Ghostblade.
Makes you go faster, come on.
Okay, Zinza finally has tier 1 boots at the 37-minute mark.
Alright, so when you're losing, and the other team's 80 carry runs up to you guys face first, might not win the 5v5, but like I said before, it's the best fight you're gonna get. You guys should have just flashed on Varus there. That's pretty obnoxious of him. He's still full damage items. It doesn't matter how fed he is, you can one-shot him if he does that. Punish mistakes. That's how you come back into games. Can you show gold? Yes, I can. Olaf's up, but the rest
Olaf,
of his team is
bad.
pretty down.
Bad Olaf by getting us
That
on fire.
Varus is shredding the tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Like honestly, whenever Olaf gets the opportunity, in my opinion, he should sell that Sunfire and get Randuin's or a Frozen Heart.
Being a little too far forward.
They're gonna have to try to fight this. They don't want to give up a
They
second
can't.
inhib.
No, this is game.
Yeah,
They're-
Kelly's
they're,
dead this GG.
they're giving free objectives and free kills basically.
Yeah, like Red's in a really awkward spot to where they can fly, but at the same time they don't want to give up more inhibs.
Mhm.
So they have to force something here.
I think Miss Fish makes a good point. It's the point I make in a lot of these BAs and BBCs, and it's something I generally don't see until I get into like higher level ranked. And it's if you exactly as he put it, if you don't take fights, sometimes you just slowly lose.
Yeah.
And
You don't
I-
want to bleed out.
Why are we pausing?
I don't know.
This
That's
game
so
is
BM.
done. Someone being DC'd isn't gonna change
Who
anything.
paused it?
I don't know. It doesn't.
It would be Zinzao.
Please, man. Oh god, he bought Mobies at 35 minutes. Alright, so we talked about this in a couple other games for a couple other people. Boots mobilities are an early game item. Some champions like them late game, just for engage purposes, like Vigar and Annie. Although new Vigar doesn't build it as much because of the stun change. But Zinzao isn't one of those champions. He needs to be tanky. He's a bruiser.
And he needs it really early because he has no long range distance closer. He just has basically really low range, slow distance closer, which you kind of want to use as a secondary engage rather than an initial engage because it's on a pretty decent long cooldown,
Mhm.
at least early on.
And ASIF 28, put your in-game name, or anybody else who wants to play in Game 3, put your in-game name in stream chat, or hop in the T-Force chat room, and when game goes up in a minute or two, we'll get you an invite.
Yeah, I will start making it right now. No point of me staying in this lobby.
Pro level ADC that always dives in like a crazy motherfucker. Let's be honest, we all know who that is.
Yeah, it's me. Kappa. Sometimes I do that, and if you watch me play AD carry, if my team's losing really badly, sometimes I will net forward or do obnoxious things in team fights. But a lot of that's me recognizing that if I don't play out of my mind, my team will lose. And
You need to sometimes make risky plays.
exactly.
Like this is what people don't understand is in most games, if you're even, you're winning. Any game where you're even, you're winning. Not in the sense that you're winning the game, but in the fact that you're not put in a position where to get back into the game or to win the game, you have to make these risky plays. That's why pro players make the risky plays once they're behind, because that's the way they're going to either win or come back. But they do these risky plays in a smart, intelligent manner where they know where the enemy team is. They know how they're going to do this thing. They don't do it out of habit or out of just the sheer fact that they can. They do it because it's calculated. Literally.
And it's like a professional basketball game when they get into the last minute. Sometimes they foul over and over again, hoping the other team misses, and they can just score every time they come up and down the court. It's not an effective strategy, or teams that do it all game, every game, but sometimes drastic times call for drastic measures.
And that
But-
isn't all the time, so don't ever
No.
try. Like if you're doing crazy plays every single game, then you're doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm. It's about min-maxing, but sometimes the min-max in a bad situation is a riskier play.
Oh my god, why is this pause like so far? What is it?
Yeah,
Brown
3 to
says
4
it
minutes?
pauses here pretty soon.
okay, well, if it unpauses, the game will be dead.
Oh, the new players aren't online right now.
Alright, we're going to go up and down the game. We'll get a lobby started. Make sure ASIF gets into the lobby. Anybody else in chat who's silver 5 or below and really wants to go in, let me know as well. And thank you for letting me know about the pause as well, KOTOR. So, advanced details. So, we're going to look at statistics a bit. I pointed out green and pinks didn't see a lot. So, 0 pinks out of Sona, 0 out of Varus. No pinks out of Kalista, no pinks out of Olaf, no pinks out of Zinzas is pretty bad. No greens out of Varus or Sona. Bot lane's acceptable where you cannot see greens. Kalista Thresh. No green wards out of Olaf means he didn't ward besides Trinket before level 9. And no wards out of Zinzaz. Really rough as well. These 2 columns are the biggest ones I'd like to see improved. And just general warding as well. If you have a Sightstone, you should be dropping more than 29. And Thresh, only 18 wards with the Sightstone is really rough as well. And for those who had warding trinkets, pretty low also. Jungles, you should be smiting Raptors 24/7. It's pretty reasonable to get 10 ward kills in a game. How many do they have? Amumu had no ward kills. That's really, really rough for a jungler. It means you didn't smite Raptors all game. And we'll go up to the game. I don't like to look at damage done. Azir, just farm. Azir, if he has a rough early game, he can come back in his late game harder. Make sure you're buying green wards in lane if lane is hard, but did a pretty good job in general. Had some good ults. I didn't see Azir do too much wrong besides like basic CS and warding. Did you guys?
Azir? No, not really. I didn't see him play anything like horribly incorrectly.
Varus, get Scrying Orb. You don't want to get Ghostblade late game. Either get a second Phantom Dancer. Varus is kind of funky. You can get like Mob Mortalis. You can get QSS. You can buy a lot of things, but 6 item Ghostblade probably isn't one of them. Remember to upgrade Scrying Orb, and remember to buy Elixir of Wrath when you're kind of sieging down for the win. Sona, get Scrying Orb once you have Sightstone.
And build order. That was her biggest issue. Like, there's no reason why you need to be completing your GP per 10 item before your Sightstone.
In chat, did Amumu ever get Sweeper? No, he got Warding Totem. We touched on it.
Yeah.
Frown, be really careful against Olaf. He cheeses hard won. We talked about how to dodge axes during the game. The Gnar versus Olaf matchup is actually okay if you dodge axes at 1. So you want to look for is take okay trades with Boomerang, dodge axes at 1, fit in auto attacks when he goes up to hit CS. At 2, you can play aggressively with Mega Gnar, but you should be playing a safe poke game and trying to dodge and not let him chain 4 axes in a row. And then when you have Mega Gnar is kind of when you want to look for fights, not tanking 4 axes in many Gnar. Amumu, I'd like to see Sweeper out of a jungle. We touched on not taking Raptors enough. Could have forced ganks a little more earlier, but I respect that you're playing safe against Zinzao. I think you did generally well across the board, though. Kalista. I think he could have... Scrying Orb. 80 carries to Scrying Orb. I think he could have just... I don't know, this is kind of what I talked about Kalista the other day. Kalista's really hard to play from behind, and if your team's losing, because you don't have enough time to get the Rin stacks down. And I didn't see you play awful in team fights. I mean, I saw slight mechanical errors, but Kalista can just be really hard to play from behind. You guys see anything that stood out to you?
Olaf, stop.
We're gonna
damage build.
Yeah, we're getting to that.
Sunfire as a 3rd or 4th item is not a good choice.
I meant Kalista.
I know. Well, you said just general, so I was like, eh.
Yeah.
Kalista's play, you have to kind of be more in sync with your support when you're playing Kalista. A lot of your trades from winning don't come from getting as many stacks as possible. It comes, at least in lane, it comes from getting off your passive.
Thresh. Alright, so Thresh, generally, 40% CDR build, we talked about that. Don't be afraid to make plays, and as Thresh, you really need to get into a habit of learning to stay away from your teammates if you think they're going to need a lantern. If you play Thresh and you don't make plays in the mid game and you don't lantern, then it's almost better off playing a different champion. But if you want to continue to play Thresh, I'd really stress those two things.
This is what I'm gonna say. Once you get good at flash hooks, you'll understand what it feels to be an okay Thresh player.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the ceiling for Thresh is, because I wouldn't say he's in a great spot, but he's in an okay spot where you can pick him up and he can do things, but you can't. Not the type of champion where you basically win the lane because you picked him.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Other than like the only time Thresh has a situation like that is when he's in against the Callista and it's a Thresh Ashe lane.
So
And that's a really miserable lane for Callista.
Cho'Gath, you don't want to sit in lane as long. You get a while where Zero's on tower and he could have just bead. We touched on that. We also touched on just general build order and really stress last hitting and pressuring the map. Also, if you have enough for Roa when you recall by Roa. But Cho'Gath doesn't scale as much as other AP mages, so you kind of need to take issue with just pressuring the map harder. Olaf build, that was just go to pro builds or low skill, look at some Olaf builds. There's so many of them. I actually did some research because I was talking to Shira. Glory's good, Trinity's pretty good, Bork is good, Hydra's okay. Not double lifesteal first and second. Random ones probably would be better to fit in. Frozen Heart, the biggest issue is actually looking at your build right now. You have a build with 0% CDR on Olaf, which is absolutely ridiculous. Olaf scales with CDR so well. If I were to pick a build for you this game, I would have gone like Blade into Heart into probably Tank, and maybe you can pick up double lifesteal later into the game, but not first second. Xin Zhao, buy boots. If you're losing, don't get Black Cleaver second. Either look for a magic resist item or look for random ones. And Ghost plays pretty rough too.
For the love of God, get boots before the 30-minute mark.
Yeah, and don't buy Mobies if you do have to delay your boots that long.
Your boots help you get from camps to lanes, from lanes to camps, and from base to everywhere else.
And if you guys like this, I understand. I'm sorry that we can't touch on 10 people every game. Feel free to ask questions in chat. Feel free to join the T-Force room and ask any questions. We'll answer them after game 3 usually, or sometimes between games. If you like the coaching aspect a lot, consider this Patreon button. A lot of tiers. The $10 involves some Champion Select podcasts. There's some coaching tiers as well. Pretty good stuff. I just finished one with somebody and he's playing quite a bit better. Yeah, good stuff. And we have a game 3 going up. Is it full? No. All right.
Or you guys can personally hire us out of your own pocket for, I don't know, $5 billion. Isn't that the usual right now, Horse?
Yeah. All right, and stream will be back up in a few minutes. I'd say 5. So we'll see you guys again in 5. If the lobby feels faster, we'll start it. But I have to take my dog out as well. So we'll see you guys in a few.